Ernie Boch JR / Uganda.
Yes, I've got that in my notes.
Uganda.
Don't worry, we're going to go to it.
That is good. That kind of sums me up a lot better than, Wikipedia.
Sure. And I watched that episode the other day.
The Nat Geo show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. How did that come to fruition? How did that come about?
Well, I was at my office, and I got a call. My assistant got a call and said, "There's some TV producer on the phone wants to talk to you." I'm like, all right, I'll call him. And they said, Ernie, we're doing a TV show for Nat Geo, and we're going around the country, and we're looking for, how can we describe this? Successful people that are a little off. And I go, you got the guy. I'm the guy. And they said, after talking to him, they said, Ernie, we've been to New York, we've been to LA, we've been to this, we've been to that. But this is the only city we went to when we asked who we should talk to. Everybody said you.
Right.
So one thing led to another between all these meetings and everything. I did a show for Nat Geo.
And it was called Undercover Angel.
Undercover, kind of like Undercover Boss, except a more international thing.
Right.
They took, I think it was 12 people. My show was only an hour.
Right.
But what they did is they dropped you someplace in the world, and with no resources, under a fake name, and you had to make a difference. The greatest guy that ever did that. Are you familiar with Grant Cardone?
Yes.
Okay, they did this.
Yes, I know.
They dropped Grant Cardone in Pueblo, California, and in like 2 days he built a multi-million-dollar business. I mean, it's like the greatest show.
Oh, I got to see that one.
He's the greatest guy.
Right.
With me, it was different. It was 10 days.
Okay.
It was 10 days, and I very quickly learned that Uganda has a water problem, just like a lot of places in Africa.
Well, hey, let me back you up there, because they dump you in a remote village.
Oh yeah,
and you're staying in you're not staying in a 5-star hotel.
So this wasn't even there were no stars. I mean, it was literally in Wajinja, Uganda. I was literally the only white guy. My crew was English, so they were white also, but I was the only white guy. No paved roads, no running water, no electricity. You figure, Africa, you kill a few animals. Those animals were gone in like the late 1800s. No animals. The only protein there are chickens, rabbits, goats, cows, but they're privately owned. So it's,
right.
It's very, very difficult. Yeah, it was intense. And the whole time, I said to him, I said, listen, I don't care where you drop me. I don't care. As long as I have a clean bathroom and a nice bed, drop me anywhere. No bed, no bathroom. It was.
Yeah, you were roughing it.
Yeah, it was tough.
So it's fresh in my mind because I just watched it. So the first day, they're like, I think you said in the show, they're walking 17 hours a week to collect water.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And plus when we get into Kampala, which, the bullet holes for when Idi Amin was running the place are still all over the city. When they brought me, and then we went like 3 hours into the it's not the jungle, it's like the bush, but it's not the bush like it's not the bush like Australia.
It's not thick,
it's a weird thing. And these people that I was with for like 5 days because they were over my house filming, because they had to introduce me to an international audience. Nobody knows who I am, so they had to kind of give a background and everything like that. And I was with them. I was friendly with them. We get there, and they just walk away, like almost like a mama bird pushes the baby bird out of the nest.
Right.
They just walked away, and I was like, hey, what are you doing? They go, I don't know, are we filming this? Can you see? They're like not even looking at me. They're just filming, and I'm talking to them. They're not answering. It was.
They're just leaving it to you.
They're just leaving it to me. Yeah.
Huh. So you really there was no director in that show. It was really a lot.
Well, there was, but everything you see in that show is real.
You're right.
That is and half the stuff they didn't even. It's only an hour. Half the stuff they didn't even put in.
Right.
Yeah.
So regardless, or anyways, you're there, and it becomes evident that the issue in this small little village is clean water.
Well,
and
the
lack of
issue
water.
in a lot of Africa is water. And what's unbelievable is they have plenty of water. It's 4 feet under the ground. They don't have the dough to dig for it.
Right.
So I kind of adopted this village, and I put in water. I put in a school. I put in all sorts of things. I just opened up Boch Medical. I opened a hospital.
What? Where?
In Uganda.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In Wajinja.
Awesome.
Yeah.
In that little
you can
okay.
you can go to BochMedicalCenter.org and
Awesome.
look at it. And I just had the Queen of Uganda over my house.
No way.
Yeah. She was over 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I really like it. I like
Yeah.
the country. I like the village. Now we're working on my on the ground guy, Derek.
Okay.
We're going to do an agricultural thing. We're looking for tracts of land, and they're gonna grow their own stuff, because now that we have the water,
Right.
And it's funny over there. And listen, nothing against the Ugandan men. I like the Ugandan men, but they don't work. It's all the women. The women are the responsible ones.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
It's just the culture.
What like that? I'm sure it wasn't the culture for all of time. What changed? What
I think it was the
influences
culture for all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just observing, giving
Sure.
you my personal opinion. Please don't
No,
email
no.
you
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
But it's you. I mean, you go around the village and stuff. It's all guys hanging around. The women are home doing all the work.
Interesting. So can people? Do you have a fund, or can people donate to help you on these projects?
Yeah, you can go to. I mean, I'm on social, Ernie Boch JR, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter.
Yeah. So they'll find you. Okay.
Yeah.
So at the end of the show, you had built this killer water tower.
Yeah.
And there was
Wow.
35 water taps. I remember.
Spigots. Yeah.
Spigots. Okay.
Yep.
But the mayor didn't have one close to his house.
And that was real.
Right.
The mayor didn't have one close to the house, but what he did have is he had this giant tank of water in his backyard.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, some things they didn't show you. He had this giant thing. So when he brings me to his house, like they prepped me like as I'm walking through the door that the guy's upset. Like as I'm walking through the door. So he's telling me he's running the place, that who am I to say where the spigots are? He's the chief elder or something, and I'm like, listen, I didn't pick where the spigots went. I left it up to, the Derek and the people.
Yeah.
But we got out of it. He's a nice guy.
Okay, good. I mean, it seems just absurd to be upset about with this guy who just gave your whole village fresh water.
Hey, you give an inch.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So seeing that, I guess being in that philanthropist space and seeing that, that problem in Africa and Uganda, do you do anything more, I guess, for poverty in the U.S., or do you see
poverty?
because
I try to give back in my own backyard.
Right.
Because I've done a lot of projects.
But I mean, so I guess my question was, seeing the absolute poverty in Uganda and then seeing the U.S., there's so many resources in the U.S.
Yes.
It seems more like there must be barriers instead of having to do good. It must be, in my mind, it seems like it's more like removing barriers in the U.S. because there's so much wealth, inches away.
Right. But the Ugandan poverty is different. I haven't been everywhere in the world, but I've been to a lot of places, and each country has their own vibe. Like in India, Calcutta. I mean, Calcutta makes Uganda look like New York City.
Really?
I mean, it's this crazy, intense insanity around the world, and I'm just a little guy trying to do my best to help.
Right. Wow. So, have you done all this? You've been to a bunch of places all over the world, and is that just for pleasure? Is that?
Yeah, for pleasure. I
Okay.
mean, when I travel, I try to be generous and do it. But Uganda was specific
For that show.
I didn't know. I had no idea about the water.
Right.
When I wanted water and they pointed to the jerry cans and they said, 4 miles that way, and I get there and it's completely contaminated and shit all over the place and dead animals floating. I said, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, 400 Ugandans a day die of bad water. 400 a day.
Wow. Huh. And like, there must be other programs like your program trying to bring
Oh yeah,
clean
yeah.
water.
Well, I somehow through whatever, there's a company called Drop for Drop.
Okay.
And they're the people I use to help me navigate. Once I got my feet wet, know. And it's funny because I did when the show was all over and everything. I went to London to do promo, and they said to me, hey, the guy that owns Drop for Drop wants to meet you at the pub.
Okay.
And I go, oh, cool, okay, excellent. So I get there, and it's like this really big burly guy and everything like that, and we're talking and we're drinking that English beer, like, I mean, 2 of those things and you're 3 sheets to the wind. and we were talking and everything. And he goes, hey, I'm going to be in Boston. I go, oh, cool. He says, my wife is playing there. And I go, oh, your wife is playing there. Good. What venue? And he says, Boston Garden. I go, okay, your wife is playing Boston? Who the hell is your wife? Adele. His wife is Adele. So I think they're divorced now. But anyway, yeah, Simon is the guy that started Drop for Drop. Really cool guy.
Wow. Interesting.